things that are big plus positive check marks are, how deeply do you understand domain and your knowledge, okay, and your ability to overall execute the entire, take the entire startup. You have a big vision. The team has a big vision. The founding members, they have great work ethic and discipline, and then they are able to, how well will they be able to take this vision forward to be able to build a big company. Market. So if you're ending up building like a 500, 1,000 crore company, right, you definitely must be in a very big market. So if your market is such that, it is big, fast growing, winner takes all, your chances of being able to build that bigger company will be quite, probability will be quite high. And hence market becomes one of the qualifiers for investors. Essentially this market work, usually the investors won't do, the associates will end up doing. Maybe in Q&A we can touch on that. Product. I have spoken about this sufficiently. So product is at the intersection of your user, their experience, your market and the customer needs, and technology. So design, customer, technology together infuse beautifully, they blend in together into making a great product. And trust me, mediocre products will just never work. So invest well in design, invest well in technology, and you be absolutely obsessed about your user if you want to build a fundable startup. So traction. So there are different kind of metrics for different organizations. But the moment, what we touched about, right? The moment you go out there in the market, you got to keep showing that, hey, month on month, we are going up. Or if you're an enterprise SaaS company, quarter on quarter, this is the kind of growth that we are having. Okay, and these metrics have to literally be this, so that they can project it like there, and then they'll be able to say, yes, very interesting. Make sense? Okay, so one thing though about traction is, you guys know the term product market fit. It's oftenly used. 10 minutes left. Yeah. Product market fit. Who knows product market fit? Okay, now you won't raise your hand no matter what question I ask. Let's see, he'll call me on the stage. Okay, who's heard of the word product market fit? Phrase. Wonderful. Okay, so traction essentially is figuring out whether your product is something that has achieved the right fitment in the market or not. Now that is literally explaining just the way the word meant, but it's a beautiful, beautiful experience when your product hits a market fit. Like any product, you roll it out there, no matter how smart you are, you realize that people don't want it. Okay, then you do some tweaks in the product, you try to solve a slightly different problem, you try to solve it for a slightly different user segment that you were targeting. Maybe the solution or the approach that you had to that problem, you tweak that slightly, and you keep doing all of these iterations, and suddenly some magic happens. All of a sudden, the demand far exceeds the supply. People are really spending more and more time in your app. Referral rates are so good. Your team is so excited, like everybody, including the janitor, is doing a night out in the office at 2 a.m. Yeah, that's when product market fit has happened. And trust me, once there is product market fit, raising capital is very, very easy. Yeah. So next one is barrier to entry. Who knows this term? So cool. Okay. Barrier to entry is how difficult is it for somebody else, like an Amazon, to come and kill your company, which is Flipkart. Okay, so give me some example. I have written some examples over here. Earlier this slide was different. So biggest barriers to entry are in technology. If it's very, very difficult to build your product, yeah, chances are that you'll always have like a 6-month to 1-year window before somebody else can come over there. By default, consumer internet and mobile applications have very little barrier to entry. Call it zero only. So those things, they typically win on velocity. They win on monthly increasing daily active users, monthly to daily active user ratios, etc. Okay. Another barrier to entry in markets like India is your exclusive reach to certain parts, say, of the government or bureaucracy, to be able to open certain doors for you. Not that I'm proud of it, but definitely a lot of big companies which won't qualify as startups leverage it sufficiently. But it is very, very relevant when it comes to enterprise sales. Now, if you are an industry veteran, you've spent 20 years working, say, in the banking and finance domain, and you end up building, say, an application which will automatically roll out a wallet for that bank, especially since there's this super hot startup called Paytm, which is being very successful with its wallet. Now, how easy will it be for you to go and talk to all your colleagues and friends who are now directors, in many of these large banks, as opposed to an upstart who's sitting in Bangalore working in a garage trying to do it, right? So that is also barrier to entry, your ability to open certain doors and the network that you end up having. Patents that you have filed, which provide you a lot of defensibility, will end up qualifying as barriers to entry. So always keep, the cost to switching. So once you have gained your early customer, and it is very expensive, so very relevant in enterprise SaaS, and it's very expensive for them to switch to another one, that qualifies as a barrier to entry. So always design your product around a barrier to entry if you're playing the big, large scaling wala game. Okay? Timing. Okay. So there's a very good quote over there by Chris Dixon. So a lot of best tech startups are ideas that have been around for years, but the time is finally right. Okay? Edison wasn't the first guy to invent the light bulb. In fact, Flipkart wasn't the first company, to do e-commerce in India. But when the time is right, magic happens. And this is probably one of the more important things which most people don't pay a lot of heed to. It takes a certain degree of maturity to be able to understand when the timing is right, and but nonetheless, just know that even if everything else about your startup is great, but the investor doesn't think that if the investor thinks that you're either ahead of your market or that you're a laggard, then they're not going to write you a check. There's one more thing. Okay, it's called social proof. What is social proof? Come on, consumer internet and mobile guys will know that. Okay, social proof essentially in a product is when you say you've seen those Facebook widgets which say that your friends, Ashim, Ravi, Rema have also liked this page. Yeah, that is called social proof. Okay, investors do social proof in a different way. Okay. So, okay, Rajan Anandan has invested. Okay, Mohandas Pai has invested. All right, let me also write a check. Okay. So, it's very important for you to probably be able to show, even if you've raised money from your Chacha Mama network, yeah, you say that, hey, 50 lakhs has been committed or 50 lakhs has already been raised. Okay. Okay, who's raised it? Somebody has raised. No, chalo, thoda validation hai. Let me evaluate it better. Won't happen with a VC, will definitely happen with angels. Okay. And it is important and relevant. Now, case study, I honestly knew that in this much time we could not do it, but this is a fantastic company. Go to blog.gofind.com, see their pitch deck. Okay, and probably read their blog also. They're a fantastic company, and they've made all of these things public and open. Absolutely worth investing time to check it out. Okay, and because blog.gofind, GOFYND.com. All right. So any questions so far? None? Okay. So when you have that opportunity where, yes, please. Yeah. I will absolutely answer that also, and that'll be the first question that we take after, because it's the last slide. Okay? And I love the color of your hair. Yeah. Market fit? We will talk about that as well. Okay. So, primarily, so when you get your pitch with an angel investor or VC, there are different kinds of pitches that you need to prepare for. Okay. Now, there's an elevator pitch. Then there's a 5-minute pitch. There's a 30-minute partner meeting in a VC firm. Okay. There are absolutely different things that you have to convey in each of these pitches. When it's a small elevator pitch, the sparkle should show in your eyes. Your passion, if it doesn't speak loudly, it doesn't get, people want to be betting on you. Okay? An elevator pitch, get them excited about you, get them excited about your business. Ashte. Okay? Then when you get a 5-minute pitch, you should actually talk about your thought leadership, what you know about this market and this customer, which most other people do not, and how you will be able to build a great company on top of these insights. If you're not educating the investor in your 5-minute meeting, again, they're not going to go back impressed. All right? And in bigger partner meetings, it's actually a lot of product. And when it comes to your you should actually demo your product, and your product will do a lot of talking for you, and a lot of discussions around the traction that you already have and your growth roadmap going forward. So that we should just leave for right now. It's not very, very relevant. But whenever it comes to the product, don't talk. Just show. And build a great product. Okay, so that the product does the talking for itself. Okay, and that is pretty much it. So, 2 questions have already come, and we will. How many minutes left, sir? About 3-4. Yeah. So, first question is, what is a lifestyle business? So, lifestyle business, simply put, is a business which does not require. Which is going to be something that will pay you about 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs a month maximum. It will probably allow you to go travel the world after having automated things. Like I've put up a small factory and I've already closed so many customers, and I will keep doing this. So I'm actually having my mojito in the beach, and it's still making me some money. Or it is a small shop or a services company that you have set up, from which you can always draw a salary of a couple of lakhs once it's become big. But it's not going to be something that's going to end up becoming a $100-200 million company. Okay, in short, that's a lifestyle business. The second question was about what exactly is product market fit. What I shared was how it feels like. What it exactly is like is very, very fuzzy, is totally dependent on the product. The word, I think, was coined by or popularized by Mark Anderson. He used to write a blog called blog.pmarsa.com. I think he brought it down, but the archives are available on Time Machine, or somebody has put it online. So, just read that. Search for Mark Anderson, product market fit. He's written a 4-part series on product market fit. Absolutely readable. That was written some 8 years ago, but it's still the best piece on product market fit that I've read till date. Any other questions, please? Yes, absolutely. So
I'll just repeat the question. Is that services company is not very attractive to investors? Is it because of the scale?
Because of the inability to scale. Yes, precisely. For a services company, the only way in which you can scale is by adding more people into the company. For a product company, the way you can scale is by improving the technology. You build it once, millions of people end up using it, or hundreds of thousands of customers end up using it. Cannot happen with a services company. So the time, like India's multi-billion-dollar companies are all, services companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, and they've become really big. That time is over. Right now is the time of the product. Who knows, again, in the time of the machines, services, niche services, which only humans can do, will again end up scaling. So that's precisely the reason. Linear versus non-linear. You cannot show an exponential growth with a services company. It'll always be like this. It's not exciting anymore to investors.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, in terms of what an investor looks at a pitch, specifically, what does he look at in terms of numbers? Like, I'm sure all the numbers, all the estimations can't be accurate, right?
Yes.
But generally, what as an investor you or someone else will look forward to, which will, push him to think again? Thank you.
Yeah. So
I guess we have investors who will actually be answering this question also, but yeah, your answer.
Precisely. I think the best numbers that you can put over there are numbers around your traction. Show them growth in the traction. They're going to look at, hey, how valuable is this startup going to be 5 years down the line if it ends up becoming a market leader in this particular space. And they will have their internal knowledge about that particular space. They will also look at, in this space, who have in other markets have other companies ended up doing very, very well, which will be validation about your business model too. Okay, so just speak about your traction, and those are the metrics that are most relevant, for early stage guys pitching to investors.
Last question.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Santosh. We are working on a hardware product, and we are building a prototype now, and we are now trying to raise fund from our family and friends. And it's not an app-only product because it's a hardware product. We need more money to get the prototype out.
Right.
How do investors look at this, and is there any way to get funded for this prototype stage itself? Thank you.
Yeah. So hardware has historically been very, very tough. We've not seen a lot of hardware deals happen over here. If it is it a consumer product and enterprise product? Consumer product. Go crowdfunding. Okay. Build a great, sexy product. Put it on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and that's probably one of the best routes of raising money on a hardware product over there. Right now. But are investors open to IoT? Yes, it is a very hot segment, except that there are too many barriers right now. They are with regard to production, they are with regard to distribution, which lead to not sufficient number of Indian hardware companies becoming consumer electronic companies becoming mainstream. But again, I'd let actual investors take this question. So perhaps you could, perhaps the moderator could pose this during the panel discussion later on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you so much, Amit. I hope that was so insightful.